Hey, welcome to my new series where we dive into albums that changed music, one band at a time. Today, we're starting with Deftones, and not just any album, their debut, Adrenaline, released on October 3rd, 1995. This record hit the world, raw, loud, and unapologetic. 30 years later, does it still hold that energy, or is it just a piece of nu metal history? Let's find out. Before we dive into the album itself, here's a little context on the legendary metal band itself. Deftones formed in Sacramento, California in the late 80s. Chino Moreno on vocals, Stephen Carpenter on guitar, Chi Cheng on bass, and Abe Cunningham on drums. From the beginning, they weren't just another heavy band. They blended raw aggression with a sense of mood and atmosphere, something emotional and almost haunting. By the mid-1990s, the metal scene was undergoing a big change. Bands like Korn and Limp Bizkit were redefining heaviness, mixing groove and angst in ways that people hadn't heard before. Deftones arrived in that space, bringing a unique mix of aggression and vulnerability, a sound that would later become one of the defining forces of nu metal, though they'd always remain hard to categorize. Adrenaline is messy, unpolished, and alive. The album opens with Bored, a song that's a little rough around the edges. To me, honestly, it doesn't hit as hard as you might expect from a debut album, and if you're a first-time listener, it might make you pause and not want to listen to the rest of their music. But that's just the warm-up. From there, there's tracks like Root and 7 Words that hit like a sledgehammer. Thick riffs, pounding drums, and Chino's voice are wild and almost unhinged, and they carry that intensity straight through the whole album. And then there's Minus Blindfold, a dark, hypnotic track that hints at the experimental textures that they'd explore in later albums such as White Pony. This isn't a polished, radio-ready album. It's aggressive, chaotic, and it's alive. And that's the whole point. The song Bored opens Adrenaline with a restless, simmering tension that sets the album's unfiltered mood. The lyrics dig deep into monotony and that suffocating sense of being stuck in a loop that you can't quite escape. Chino Moreno's vocals turn that boredom into a weapon, sharp and violent, making it a great introduction to Deftones' raw and volatile energy. Minus Blindfold slows things down into something darker and hypnotic. The sort of breathing noises in the background of the song create an unsettling atmosphere, keeping you on guard the entire song. The blindfold is a common symbol for confusion, allowing one to be unaware of reality. Its introspective tone and lyrics offer a brief descent into confusion and isolation, showing an early glimpse of the band's atmospheric instincts. The song's brooding undercurrent feels like a pause in the chaos, reminding you that Deftones can make silence and tension hit just as hard as noisier tracks, like in the Around the Fur era. The track 1 Week captures emotional turbulence at its core, anxious, chaotic, and conflicted. The lyrics explore the themes of self-doubt and fragility, while the low-pitched bass riffs mirror that same instability. The lyrics of this song reference Christ very frequently, and possibly suicide or religious sacrifice. It feels like a breaking point, wrapped in the distortion, a moment of honesty to God that's uncomfortable but necessary. Some fan theories connect the song to themes of abortion or miscarriage, with the song focusing on the potential loss of an unborn baby due to the lyrics, "But you will never find me, breach, unborn." Nosebleed is one of the really abrasive and raw tracks on this album, a burst of pent-up aggression turned outward. It is interpreted as being about a liar and the frustration Chino Moreno feels, wanting them to disappear. The lyrics express a strong desire for the liar to just disappear, indicating that the singer is fed up with their dishonesty. Themes of alienation and internal anger dominate this track, and it feels almost physical in its intensity, like getting hit in the chest and realizing you needed it. It's pure catharsis, unrestrained and apologetic. The song Lifter sounds sort of like a tug of war between desire and self-destruction. The speaker wants to be close to someone, maybe too close. Lines like, "I wish I could feel like you," and "inside of her" sound desperate, not romantic. It's obsession disguised as affection. The title itself, Lifter, feels ironic. It's supposed to mean something uplifting, right? Except this song's version of lifting is trying to pull yourself out of quicksand while it's sinking faster, and realizing that this love may in fact be an obsession. The song Root explodes with a primal energy, a pure embodiment of rage and release. The riffs hit like punches, and Chino's vocals are feral. The lyrics explore themes of trust, identity, and the struggle of giving everything while receiving nothing in return. Lines like, "We gave our eyes, but no one will," and "So poor I will fly," capture a tension between the despair and the glimmer of hope. Chino Moreno's vocals, combined with the surging riffs and pounding drums, amplify this sense of internal chaos, turning the song into a visceral experience rather than a narrative with clear answers. At its core, Root is about navigating feelings of emptiness and longing while trying to hold on to some sense of self, an intense, meditation on vulnerability, defiance, and the fleeting promise on escape. The track 7 Words stands out as an anthem of rebellion, confrontational, loud, and fearless. The lyrics lash out against control and conformity, a raw scream of defiance that feels almost contagious. The lyrics channel anger at control, authority, and societal expectations, with Chino's voice alternating between venomous aggression and chaotic intensity. The music mirrors this tension perfectly. Relentless riffs, pounding drums, and the jagged dynamics create a sense of urgency and rebellion. On a deeper level, this song captures the frustration of being trapped or silenced, and expressing the rage and alienation of someone pushing back against forces that seek to confine them. It's not subtle, and it doesn't try to be. 7 Words is a sonic middle finger, a pure release of unfiltered emotion that both captures and energizes the listener. It's the sound of resistance that made tangible, perfectly capturing chaotic pulse of mid-90s youth frustration. The song Birthmark changes the album's pace again, drawing the listener into a slower and moodier space. Lyrically, Birthmark delves into themes of inner turmoil and self-deception. The line, "In spite, I'll still lie," suggests a conscious choice to deceive oneself, perhaps as a coping mechanism for deeper emotional scars. The metaphor of a birthmark implies a permanent, inescapable flaw or identity trait that one cannot shed, no matter how hard they try. The line, "God, I'll even lick her picture," stands out for its raw intensity, possibly reflecting obsessive longing or the desperation of unrequited love. This imagery evokes a sense of consuming desire and the lengths one might go to feel connected to someone who isn't even physically present. Engine number 9 throws you right back into the chaos. The track is frenzied and paranoid, pulsing with urgency as if it's constantly on the verge of collapse. Every note feels like an adrenaline rush, fitting for a song that practically defines the album's title. 7 Words is a raw expression of teenage anger and rebellion, written by lead vocalist Chino Moreno at the age of 16. The song's title refers to the phrase, "You have the right to remain silent," highlighting themes of authority, oppression, and defiance. The lyrics convey a sense of frustration and resistance against societal norms and expectations. The song's aggressive tone and explicit language serve to amplify its message, making it a powerful anthem for those feeling marginalized or misunderstood. Fi-Real's lyrics are notably cryptic, leaving much open to interpretation. Themes of longing, frustration, and introspection permeate the song, reflecting the band's early lyrical style. Lines like, "We are beggars, we are blown, and I want to be so much more while I watch you," suggest feelings of inadequacy and desire. The phrase, "no fist to fucking save you from," has been interpreted by some fans as a commentary on the futility of violence or aggression in resolving deeper emotional conflicts. One Reddit user described the song as depicting a scenario where the narrator attempts to help someone but realizes that they themselves are in need of assistance, highlighting that sense of vulnerability and self-awareness. The closing track of this album, Fist, has lyrical work such as in the opening lines, "Hello memory lover, you are mine, I gave everything, I need you, and someday I'll be with her, I'll be with you, I will, I'm so dead," suggest themes of longing, loss, and the complexities of relationships. The narrator expresses a deep connection and desire to be with someone, yet there's an underlying sense of inevitability and resignation. The repetition of "I'll be with you" contrasts with the finality of "I'm so dead," hinting at the internal conflict between hope and despair. Fist has been interpreted by listeners as a reflection on unrequited love or a toxic relationship, and ends this album in a haunting and introspective medley of emotion. On Adrenaline, Chino Moreno's lyrics serve as the raw emotional backbone of the album, capturing the chaos, anger, and introspection of his teenage years. In Bored, he channels frustration and that gnawing sense of monotony, while Minus Blindfold turns inward, exploring isolation and confusion. 1 Week exposes vulnerability and self-doubt, and Nosebleed erupts with pure aggression, a release of teenage rage. With Lifter, Chino grapples with tension and the desire to rise above limitations, while Root examines identity and the struggle to be understood. 7 Words is a blistering manifesto of defiance against authority and societal constraints, reflecting his unfiltered rebellious energy. In Birthmark, he contemplates permanent flaws and emotional scars, an introspective look at traits one cannot escape. Engine Number 9 channels abstract anger and chaotic intensity, while Fi-Real immerses itself in atmospheric turmoil and complex emotion. Finally, the last track, Fist, closes the album with confessional vulnerability, touching on longing, loss, and the weight of deep emotion. Across all these tracks, Chino's lyrics are both a personal diary and a universal expression of youthful turbulence, giving Adrenaline its visceral, authentic core. So, does Adrenaline hold up? For me, yes. It's jagged, imperfect, and full of energy. Exactly what a debut should be. It's a glimpse at the band just discovering themselves, but already creating something unforgettable. If you're looking for something polished, this isn't it. But if you want something raw and messy and that delivers emotional intensity, Adrenaline is the one for you. And for the first episode in this series, I can't think of a better starting point. Deftones weren't just part of the new metal scene. They were already carving out their own lane in the music world. Comment below. What's your favorite track off Adrenaline? Or did you hear it for the first time with me? Next episode, we'll dive into Around the Fur, where Deftones start to refine their chaos into more organized craziness.